example, we have DMAT,
Yes.
and then we have DRE, then TOEFL. With their money, for example, DMAT, the money is $250. Then the DRE is $170. Then TOEFL is $160 US dollars. Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. One thing that I have to emphasize, you don't have to do all these tests. You can only do one or two. If you are doing the management real estate program, you can take the GMAT. And like I said, they can waive the TOEFL. The university can exempt you from taking the TOEFL. You can request, and the university exempts you from doing that. Okay? Now, if you're going to spend $250 US, really, can you afford to fail that exam? I don't think I would. I think I'll put in all my effort and make sure I pass this exam. $250 is not easy. And for a student, I know that it's really difficult to get that kind of money. Some people, it's not a problem. But you can do this exam more than once, if you have the money. But for $250, I think I'd work very hard. And what I must say is that we have resources available at the embassy. You can come and practice. Okay? We have the books that can guide you and help you. We don't teach the GMAT, we don't teach the GRE, but we let you use the facility and practice. It would be good for you to come and practice before you decide on which date you want to do the exam. Like I said, you can take the exam anytime throughout the year. So you can come and practice and then say, okay, this is how much time I'm going to need. Okay? Before you select the dates you want to do the exam.
There's one other question here.
Am I clear? You don't have to do all the 3 exams.
Thank you, Connie. My name is Hamza. I just missed out on joining university in Doha because I didn't have that TOEFL certificate, test of English as a foreign language certificate. So when I asked them why they really need it, they told me they want to test my language ability, whether I can speak English fluently. So I told them Uganda is English-speaking country. It is what I've been studying from P1 up to my first degree. But then they insisted that I should go to the US. They advised me on how to get that TOEFL certificate. So, Connie, if sincerely they need to see my language ability, is it possible for you to give me a recommendation that, no, this gentleman doesn't need to do this examination? Because like he has told you, the cost $106, that is not small money by all standards.
I know it's not, but some universities will insist, especially the Doha is in, I can't talk on their behalf. I don't know why they want to do the exam, probably because they are an Arab-speaking country, probably. But with the US, I can make recommendations for my students. I can say, you know, but you have to promise me that you're going to do well on the verbal section or the GRE. I don't want you to embarrass me. But the verbal section is the English section of the exam. I don't want to write a good recommendation and say, you know, exempt you from doing this exam, and then you go in GRE and do the verbal, like, you know, will not make me look professional at all. So I don't know why, you know, some universities will insist. They might look at your essay and feel, you know, you're not doing your essay well enough. They want to see how well you do if it's an exam. Like I say, if you're going to teach undergraduate classes, you need to show competence in the English language. Okay?
Just to say, to add something regarding the pre-admission exam, GMAT, GRE, and TOEFL, it's very, very important. The GXL in GMAT and GRE is to require that, because without excelling or passing them, you can't be admitted. Most American graduate schools, what they do, once they receive your application, the first thing they look at is the GMAT or GRE, depending on what you're supposed to write. If you don't excel, they won't look at the rest of the documents. So it's very, very important that you do everything possible to make sure that you pass the pre-admission test. Connie has mentioned some of the sections of GRE. Now, like the verbal section, the English section. statistics show that is the hardest part. It is very, very hard. The quantitative is not so hard because most of the math is O level and A level, but the verbal is very, very hard. Even GMAT. So you have to plan and prepare. Normally, if you advise you need a minimum of 3 months to prepare, especially for GMAT and GRE. Don't take it for granted. And if you think you're not so smart when you're planning, have time for redoing it. Because in case you fail, you won't get admitted. But the beauty of repeating it is that they take the best. Even if you've done it 5 times, 3 times, 4 times, they will regard your best. They'll disregard the others because it's not a joke. And it's not, you should be treated lightly. So once you want to budgeting $250, if possible, budget for 500. And even, don't laugh, it's not laughing matter. And even then, you must space the timing. If the exams and the results don't get at school by 31st of December, make sure you do your first attempt maybe in October, September, because once you fail for GRE, I'm sure, you're not supposed to see GRE more than once every month, and not more than 5 years in a year, 5 times in a year. So you must think of the spacing. She told you that American kids, American students also do this GRE and GMAT. Yes, they do. But on top of that, they attend special coaching classes. So you are competing with an American whose native language is English, who is based in the States, who is doing tutorial classes in the States. It's very competitive. So take it seriously. What I will tell people is that look at it as an investment. After all, GRE results last up to 4 years, 3 years, 5 years. So look at it as an investment. Now, the last gentleman asked about TOEFL. He wants to know why they were insisting on TOEFL, yet English is the official language. Rules are rules. Rules are rules. I know that in Africa, some countries like Kenya, South Africa, are exempt, students from there are exempted from various universities. In Uganda, it's a few. So rules are rules. And TOEFL is not so hard. But even then, you have to practice. Connie mentioned that at the Educational Learning Center, we have facilities for practice. Yes, you have to come and use those facilities because the exams are internet-based. And things that make you fail, as you know sometimes, is because you don't use the environment or you don't use to the facilities being used. They're internet-based, they're computer-based. So you must know how to manipulate the computer. You must know how to use them. Because that alone can count against you. Now, for starters, if you don't know how to type, please learn typing. And you guys are so lucky. By the time I was at your age, these things weren't available. You can buy typing tutors from Kampala Road, install the computer at home, and practice typing. After all, by the time you guys go to the States, typing was compulsory. I graduated 7 years ago, and my school, my class, I was the only person who didn't have a laptop. Everybody had a laptop in class. In point of fact, my first computer I owned was given to me by one of my classmates. He just gave it to me. What told me was that at my school, you should borrow a laptop, they borrow books. You go to the library, you borrow a laptop 8 hours. 8 hours, that you use it within the library facilities, wireless to access the internet. Or you take it home, where you borrow a book, every week and renew. That's the beauty of America. Okay? But please learn typing and then take the tests very seriously.
I'm going to have Doris. After Doris, I'll just have to run because we're running out of time.
So I just wanted to add also on that. It would be good to find out the score that each university, like the best score that the university seeks. So you can get a minimum score. Thank you.
You can get a score that's below what the university. Maybe yes, it's a good score for a certain university. In another university, it wouldn't be as good. So I think it would be good to find out from the university that you're going to enroll in, the score that is best for them, and then you try and work towards that. And use the facilities definitely at the embassy. Practice the actual exams, a whole exam. So do 5 of them, and try and pace yourself and see the score, each score you get each time, make sure that you improve. Thank you. And it will also help you improve on your speed, because these are timed exams. I'm going to have to continue, and then maybe we'll take the questions probably at the end. Okay. Now, the statement of purpose. One thing you have to know is that The essays, this will be, I'll call it maybe sometimes